to another episode on the VanillaTyme server. This is episode 3, and yes, today is the day, or at least this is the episode. We are making a lot of progress on the materials for my first big build on the server. I apologize for the rain. There is nothing I can do about it. As you saw in the intro, we've been working on collecting materials. We need a bunch of crimson, which I've now collected, I think, everything I need for. I've got all of the diorite I need. There's a few bits and pieces that I still need to collect. Namely, I need to do a little bit of warped mining, and I also need calcite. So I'm going to have to find myself a geode, but they're not that uncommon. I believe Harding said that there's one underneath the village to the north of us that he claimed. So shouldn't have a problem there. There are a number of other little odds and ends, but as you can see here, we've been collecting like just the little weird bits and pieces. We still need a lot of brown wool. I'm thinking I might even make... I've been trying to avoid farms until I get the starter base built, but I may have to just so that I can get the materials for the starter base rather than, shearing sheep manually, which, to be honest, is kind of lame. I also need cyan and blue wool, if I'm not mistaken, and some concrete. So I'm going to have to, well, I did a bit of sand collection, but I think I need a little bit more gravel. That might not be enough. We'll take a look at the materials list and figure it out. I also, in between episodes, made this little tiny single unit. Ooh. Oh, our lightning rods finally come in handy, which is good, because I really don't want our villagers turning into witches. But yeah, so we've got this tiny little 1-unit sugarcane farm. I'll plan on expanding it later once I get a little bit more quartz. This is temporary. I don't want to leave this here. But we've got the manual farm. Figured we'd just have a little something working in the background. Harding and I have also been really busy working on our villagers. So we've expanded out. We've got mending and efficiency 5 now. And coming around here, we've got full armor. We've got a maxed out weaponsmith. We got our maxed out toolsmith over there. We've got a leather worker here that is just about maxed out, which I think saddles come in the last stage, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, we'll have to restart him. The iron farm is at like 99% efficiency now. I think Harding mentioned that one iron golem has spawned since the fixes, like over here, so I may just have to expand the pathing a little bit. But that's not a big deal. If we see it happen, we'll fix it. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to collect the remaining materials that we need, and then we can get started on the starter base, which I've laid out a flat area over here for. So we've got a nice flattened out area, and this is going to be the site of our new home. So it's close enough to the village that we'll have access to everything from over there, and we can slowly start migrating a few things in here. So I'm just going to keep grinding out materials. So some of the materials we couldn't get locally, so we had to look around for them. And by look around, I mean go on an adventure with Harding across half of the map in the overworld on foot. We were looking for a warm ocean biome, and unfortunately we didn't get lucky on the first attempt. So we had to continue traveling, and eventually we did find a second biome with what we needed, and Harding was able to find 2 sniffer eggs, which was perfect. I also needed mangrove leaves. And we did wind up finding a geode, and as you can see, we decided to completely clear it out. We removed all of the calcite and then exposed all of the buds. This geode is actually located pretty close to our trial chamber. It's almost right beside it, which will make it a lot easier to get back to it later. All right. We have collected all the materials we need. There we go. I think we've got just about everything. We are short 1 blackstone slab and the 2 torch flowers, but we do have the sniffer eggs. I'm just waiting for Harding to set up a farm for them so we can collect them. He's got the eggs right now, but I think we have enough to get started. So let's go. Ta-da! I decided to go with a bit of a theme this season, and if you don't recognize this, then I guess you're just not as old as I am. I'm kidding. This is the Flintstones house. Yep, this is where Fred and Wilma live, and I've even tried to do my best to recreate the tree out in front of their house. And we've even got a garage in here, which I was planning on just putting in some manual storage chests, but I may abandon that plan. But we'll circle back on that. I do need the 2 torch flowers. They're going to go here and here. And in case you're wondering, well, Steph, this isn't very practical as a starter base because mobs are going to be able to get in. Well, that's what this is for. So between the staircases and the trapdoor with the glass pane here and the other trapdoor above, they can't actually pathfind. Like, you can walk through this fairly easily, right? But mobs don't know how to pathfind through this. So the only time a mob might actually be able to get in is if they're already aggroed on you. But even then, I don't think they were able to get in unless like another mob pushed them in. In any case, it is quite safe, despite it being 2 giant holes in my front door. But moving along, so we have, I did my best to recreate as much of the Flintstones house as I could. So over here, we've got a little bit of a dino, and when you step on this, what it actually does is it'll spit out whatever's in the dropper and it'll feed it into the furnace. So this will actually be a fun little way of fueling the furnace here. I can also set up a dragon head underneath if I want, once the end opens. And so when I jump on that, it'll actually trigger the dragon sound. So just a little tiny furnace. So it's nothing special, but I thought that was nice. Over here, I'm going to pop a pig into this little box here. If you've seen the Flintstones, then you'll know that that is their trash compactor. And so the pig will just sort of simulate that. And up here, I need to get another bone for this, but you put items in the barrel, and there's a composter inside, and it'll feed the bone meal out here. So kind of what we're doing over in the village, but just looking a little bit nicer. Over here, we've got the elephant, or actually, I guess technically it's not an elephant, it's a woolly mammoth that just happens to be blue. Because, believe it or not, it was blue in the show. So we keep it the same. And so he's just using his trunk to shoot out some water, and that just goes down in here. And so I can use water bottles to access water from here, and then just a crafting table in the bench. Now, the bench does sit, or rather, sorry, the kitchen, I guess. The table sits a bit high here. There wasn't much I could do about that. I could consider throwing like a chair or a stool or something just so I can get up a little bit easier. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. We've got a cuckoo clock, and there's going to be 1, 2, 3 birds. I do have 2 parrots that I've caught so far, so I'm going to be putting those in. So that'll be a bit of a challenge. And then over here, we have our television, which, if you may recall, is a giant pterodactyl. Again, I did my best. I'm not great at organics, and with a limited space, this is what I came up with. So he's got the screen, the projector screen in his tummy, and then he's just got his wings and his little footies and a beak. And then we can just sit here and watch TV. So I can actually do, yep, there we go. One of the perks of being a supporter on the server is you can sit on things that you normally can't sit on. So that's kind of cool. So I just have to get the mobs in, and that'll basically be done. So yeah, between the house, the garage, the tree, the front lawn a little bit, and then, of course, the elephant in the back. Yes, he is underground because he is so big, he just sits in a hole all day. Don't at me. What do you think? I am very proud of this build. I think it's fantastic. And I think there's something that we could do. There. Much better. I think it fits the theme a little bit. I think I still need to make a skin for Harding for Fred, but we'll see. for now, I figured it was appropriate. I am going to continue wearing my my armor for now because it is dark and the night is terrifying and full of monsters. So I think we'll leave it here. Take care, like and subscribe if you're new, and don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Bye!